This video is called How Do I Get an AVO? Now, there are two main ways that you can get an AVO or apply for an AVO. The first is to request that police apply for an AVO on your behalf. Now, if you do that, if you approach them and you tell them of your concerns and things that occurred, and they apply for an AVO on your behalf, the benefit is that you won't have to pay a lawyer to represent you in court. That is, the police prosecution service will represent you in court. Also, if for whatever reason the AVO is not successful, you won't have to pay for the other side's costs, that is, the respondent's costs. Now, if police apply for an AVO on your behalf, you will be what's called the person in need of protection, and at the end of the day, if the AVO is successful, then you will be protected for a particular period of time. Now, that's a police AVO. The second way to apply for an AVO is to apply for a personal AVO. The best way to apply for a personal AVO, in my view, is to go to the court registry, the court office, ask to see a chamber magistrate, and the chamber magistrate can draft the AVO application for you. Now, you will then be given a court date and you'll go to court, and you may or may not wish to get a lawyer to represent you. The other way to do it is to get a lawyer to represent you and to help you draft the AVO application and to defend you throughout the proceedings, or to prosecute the AVO really throughout the proceedings. That's a personal AVO. However, the problem with a personal AVO is that if for whatever reason you are unsuccessful, that is, you don't win, then you may be up for the other side's costs. So, in my view, it's better to try to get police, or to try to persuade police to take an AVO out on your behalf if you have legitimate concerns and fears for your safety. Now, there are two main types of AVOs. The first are called Apprehended Personal Violence Orders, or APVOs, and they are when you have a personal relationship with someone other than a domestic relationship. So for example, it might be an AVO brought against your neighbour, your colleague, or a former friend. Now, the second broad category of AVOs are called Apprehended Domestic Violence Orders. And that's when you do have a domestic relationship with a person. So it may be a family member, or it may be an intimate partner. So that's an Apprehended Domestic Violence Order. Now, in order to get an AVO, or in order to be successful in court with your application for an AVO, you need to prove that you have a genuine fear that the respondent, that is the person against whom the AVO is being sought, will assault, molest, harass, threaten, stalk, or otherwise interfere with you. So you have to have that genuine fear. That's the first thing. The second thing you need to prove is that there are reasonable grounds for you having that fear. So as long as you prove both of those things in court, then the court can grant you a final AVO. Now, generally AVOs last for 12 months. However, there's no hard and fast rule about the length of an AVO. It can be longer if the court is of the view that a longer one is required. Now, AVOs can be quite powerful because if someone breaches the AVO, they will be charged with something called Contravene AVO. And that's a serious criminal offence that carries up to 2 years imprisonment. So they're there to protect people, they're there to help people, and if you have a genuine fear for your safety, you can go about trying to get an AVO in one of those ways.